Hey, Scott Spears along with you here on WGH Talk. Like to welcome you to another edition of The Exchange here. And it is holiday time, as you can see. The set is decorated for the season. Christmas time has come. Now, we're taping this on Wednesday, so this is Thanksgiving Eve that we're taping it. But it will air on Friday, so by the time you see this, it'll be the busiest shopping day of the year, Black Friday. And we want to wish you a very, very happy start to your holiday season. And we hope you had a very happy Thanksgiving. Mary Ellen, Black Friday, do you enjoy shopping?
Oh, I don't do it anymore. I quit shopping.
Did you ever like to go out in the crowds?
No.
No.
No, I never did the Black Friday situation. I let other people do that.
Some people love it.
I know they do, but it's not for me.
Now, who was the shopper in your family?
Well, all my daughters would get the things for the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren because I didn't know what they liked anymore, you know? And so I always gave them money to go get whatever they thought they'd like, you know?
Now, when your girls were young, did you go out and shop in those days?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bought their gifts. Yeah, I did. And yeah, we had some arguments over things.
As such at the holiday time, it happens. It happens.
My dad said, "You buy too many little things that they can fight about." I said, "Well, I think I do."
Now, when you were in Washington, did you like to go to the stores during the holiday season?
Yeah,
there?
yeah. I had my favorite stores there, which was only a few, but they were in Chevy Chase, most of them. Yeah.
You know, I called Macy's this morning because Macy's at holiday time, you've got the Thanksgiving parade.
Yeah.
You've got Miracle on 34th Street, which is Macy's is heavily profiled there. At Christmas time in New York, it's just Santa Clauses and everything.
Yeah.
There's just something about Macy's.
Right.
So here we are in the holiday season, and if you're out shopping, we hope you're having a good time. Although I don't think Black Friday has the cachet that it used to have because of internet. People shop online now.
Oh, that's right. And I don't do that either. Yeah.
Did you ever shop from the catalogs?
Yes.
That used to be a big thing.
Yes, I did that. Yeah.
Sears catalog at one point was the most popular way to shop in the 1970s.
Oh, yeah, it was.
So it's a very big thing. Now, one thing we do want to cover, since we got together last Thursday night, we got together at Harding High School. It was in the Mary Ellen Withrow Community Room, which was named a couple years ago. But they rededicated the room. There's now a plaque in there. Your picture is in there. They've rehung it in a different place in the room. Your name's up on the ceiling in the room and above the door that people can see from outside. What was that experience like for you?
Well, it was very nice. I thought they really did a beautiful job and were so nice, you know. It was just lovely.
Was it fun to go back to the school board?
Yes, sure. I didn't listen, of course, to any of the school board meeting, but that would have been interesting for me, but because it would have probably brought back more memories. And but we left right before the school board meeting.
And I still don't know what was going on that night on the school board.
Must have been a lot.
Standing room only.
Yes, everybody was there.
There was definitely an issue going on. Did you remember days like, what was the big standing room issue at Elgin when you were on the school board that really brought the people in?
Well, the dress code.
Always the dress code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They couldn't wear the flag. The kids were starting to wear the flag, and we said they couldn't wear the flag. And then there was a thing about the hair, about the beards. Some of the teachers had beards, and they had to do away with their beards, and there was a little bit of a upset about that.
When you're on the school board like that and you have issues like that, do you talk to the other school board members and try to feel how they're going to vote, get a feel before you vote?
Oh, yeah. We especially did that when we had the news sitting in on our meetings. We would discuss everything that was questionable, we would discuss it before the regular meeting, and then when we had our meeting, we'd whiz right through it. Yeah.
Who was the most helpful to you when you were on the school board?
Oh, they were all helpful. I think the superintendent was probably the most helpful.
Who was that in those days?
I'm trying to remember his name. I can't remember. I think it was it Wilson? Then we had a guy that I know really well, and I can't think of his name either. But anyway, I had just two people. Yeah, the first year was this person that I didn't know very well, and then the year or two after that, we had somebody that was a good friend, and that was nice. Yeah.
Were there any of your fellow school board members during your tenure that you were particularly close with?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All really. Bob Lowry was a real close friend of mine, and he ran the post office, and and I think he helped me get elected because he said people are coming in asking, should there be a woman on the school board? And he said, of course there should be.
So he went along with it.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And it was a fun night, and it was a lot of, one of the things that was struck me was you had talked about a former history teacher, a government teacher.
Yes, Mary Jo Stafford was my teacher. Yeah, and I think that was the only year she taught government. She taught world affairs otherwise, but she followed me. I remember I was giving a speech in Columbus, and I looked out, and there she was in the crowd,
Mm.
Yeah.
And why was she the one that you chose to talk about last Thursday?
Well, she was my government teacher, and she had an effect on me. Yeah, she did.
Was it the way she taught or something she did?
She was very kind. She was a very kind person, and I really liked her. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Teachers can make a big difference.
Oh, they do. There's teachers that you really can, really talk to, and then there's teachers that you can't. Yeah.
And one of the school board members said that night, which I thought was very nice, because on the back wall of that room, there's a big word that says inspire.
Yeah.
And she talked about how all the kids who come through that room can now look at that plaque and your picture and know that they can be inspired to do whatever they would like to do in their life.
Yeah, if they knew how basic I really was in school, they would be amazed probably that how could anybody do what I did, that I didn't excite, and I don't think I excited any of my teachers that much. Yeah.
When you think on that question, when you think that self-described basic in high school,
yeah.
How did you achieve it all?
How did I achieve what?
Everything in life.
Well, what I achieved was I went for what I wanted to do. If I thought I wanted to do something, I went for it. And that's the way I operated my whole life. I thought, well, that sounds like fun. I'm going to, I've done this long enough. I don't have anything else I can do here. I'm going to move on. And that's what I did.
Did you find life, I guess the life of a politician is you have to learn how to operate in that world.
Yeah.
How hard was it to learn how to operate in that world?
Well, I tell you, I learned before I got there. I had to learn how to shake hands with people and walk up to people and talk to them when they really didn't want to talk to me. Mm. And after I learned how to do that, it didn't bother me. I could do it anywhere. And when I was in Washington, the guy that, I can't remember what his title was, but he said I could work the room better than anybody he ever saw. And I thought, boy, that's a compliment.
It is a compliment.
Yeah. And I was in a room with the Secretary of the Treasury and other very important people.
You know, it's interesting. When we just celebrated your birthday last month, and a lot of those videos that I would go back and look at, that time when you were state treasurer and treasurer of the United States, you always seemed happy to be in the room or giving the speech. Or
I was happy.
Yeah.
I was happy to be where I was. I mean, it just made me happy to have a speech to give. It did. It's amazing because when I started out, I couldn't hardly give a speech. But then I got over that, and then I really enjoyed it.
Did you ever get to a point where you thought, oh, something else?
The only time when I was working on these programs that I had as state treasurer, I was concerned about how well they would be accepted, and they were accepted well, but I didn't know, you know. And when they were accepted well, I was just thrilled. And then they copied it over and over and over and took my name off of it. That's what upset me. They took my name off of it.
You know what? That's interesting that people would take credit for something that somebody else came up with. But do you?
Oh, that's it. They do that.
They do that all the time. That's true.
That's very common.
That is. But you know what? Two of the things that they mentioned on Thursday night were the state quarters program and the redesigning of the money. And do you ever, to this day, all these years later, look at the money redesign and those quarters, state quarters, and think, I was a big part of that?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in my museum. I had 3 sort of titles put up in the case. I helped create the state quarters program. I helped redesign the currency, which hadn't been redesigned since 1928. And I helped create Sacagawea. And a lot of the people that became U.S. treasurers didn't do anything. Yeah, they didn't. I mean, all they did was what they had to do, which was different things for different people. But yeah.
But you were a very popular state treasurer as well. Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting because I think back now to the time when you were state treasurer, and it's interesting because now I don't think anybody would even suggest that a state treasurer would. Honestly, if I asked people who the state treasurer was, I doubt they would know.
I know.
And he's been state treasurer for 8 years.
That's right. And what has he done?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think about that a lot. I thought, they get in there and they think they can just sit there and not do anything. Yeah.
And I don't think anybody would ever think, I'm trying to think of any of the state treasurers that came after you, I don't think any of them were ever thought to be a candidate for governor. I don't think anybody ever thought that they would be that well. The only one, I mean, oddly enough, the only one who went on to try to run for other things was Mandel.
Well, but also Chris... the guy that ran for governor was state treasurer.
Oh, Cordray.
Cordray,
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, he did. So, and he had a good shot at it. But those were Cordray and Mandel are really the only two in the last 30-something years.
And where is Mandel? He's disappeared.
Yeah, he had some, oddly enough, I mean, we've talked about him a lot because of the commercials, and you were not obviously a fan of his, but he did have some ambition as state treasurer.
Well, he did have, you're right.
Yeah.
In fact, he had a lot of ambition.
He did. He ran for Senate.
Yeah.
And he was out there.
Yep.
I mean, so he had that.
Yes, he did. Give him credit.
Yeah.
But what I didn't like, he used his family.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not good. You should not use your family in your advertisements.
Hey, speaking of this right now, we now know Tim Ryan's not running.
That's right.
And so here we go.
We finally found that out.
We found that out.
Yeah.
So now...
It's Amy Atkins.
How do you feel?
Well, I mean, she's working at it, I guess. Yeah.
So at this point, have you made up your mind as far as
Well, she's probably it.
she's it?
Yeah.
Are you enthusiastic about her?
Well, I would rather see her than anybody else.
Mhm.
Yeah. I sure as heck don't want to see Ramaswamy.
Do you think she has a chance?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
So now that we know there's probably not going to be a primary at this point, do you think she is the one you're going to support heavy?
Well, I support heavy. I have already supported her and with some with a little bit, but I'm probably not going to be doing much. I'm not in the position to do much anymore.
At this point, knowing that she probably is the only candidate, do you think you will endorse her?
That's time. I'm going to wait and see.
You want to see what happens?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens as time goes along. I have seen a lot more of Ramaswamy lately. He seems to be out and about a little more.
I know. Yeah.
So I think after that last election in which he felt his party got their rear ends handed to them,
And they're going to get it again, I think.
it could be. It could be. Now, I do want to touch on this. We don't know much because we just found out right before we went to tape this episode. But apparently 500 more National Guard troops are headed to D.C., at the behest of President Trump because 2 National Guards people, we don't know what their condition, but apparently they were shot.
Yeah.
So, what do you make of this, Mary Ellen?
Well, they shouldn't be there in the first place. They're supposed to protect us, not be fighting us, you know?
It's an unfortunate situation, especially here. We're taping this the night before Thanksgiving. And I don't know if national troops, I assume from Ohio, will be deployed.
I feel sorry for them because they're in a heck of a position. It was just like Mike Kelly said, you know, they should pay attention to the Constitution and not to Trump. And he's, you know, he wants them to do what he says, which isn't the way it should be for a democracy. And so it's really a concern.
Well, there's a lot going on right there. Senator Mark Kelly apparently is being looked at by the Justice Department because he, along with a lot of other veterans, released a video essentially saying that they need to follow the laws and not necessarily what Trump or their commanding officers say. Trump did not like this and said some things about them. But, you know, Comey, the charges against him were dismissed.
Well,
Letitia
they didn't have
James.
anything. Yeah.
And Letitia James, the same thing. Charges were dismissed against her. So I guess the legal system is holding up.
I thank goodness for that.
What do you think this will do with Mark Kelly?
Well, you know, he's got such a wonderful record. I don't see how they can do anything to him, but I keep my fingers crossed for him.
He was an astronaut.
Gosh, he did everything.
Married to Gabby Giffords.
Yes, he shot down. He did all those flights for the. Well, what was it? The Navy?
I think so.
Yeah.
And here he is.
Yeah.
At odds with the president.
Yeah, and what did the president ever do, for crying out loud? He never was in the service. He had bone whatever, and here he is causing all this trouble.
You know, a year ago, he had just won the election. The presidency had not started.
Yeah.
A year in, did you think this was pretty much what was going to happen?
I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I mean, you know, we had him 4 years ago, and he had people around him that were not his people, which was a big help. Now he's got his people, and he's able to do whatever he wants. And it's a different situation.
It's certainly different than the first Trump presidency.
Yeah.
I think we can say that without
Right.
objection. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was all in on President Trump for a long, long time, got on his bad side by apparently appearing on The View, of all things, and also saying that she felt that the Republicans were not handling things properly. And now we learn that she's going to resign from Congress in January. And apparently now we've also learned that other Republicans may be headed out of Congress. Kevin McCarthy is warning Republicans there may be more defections coming in the next few months after Marjorie Taylor Greene leaves. The vote margin that they have over the Democrats is not a tremendous margin at all at this point. So what do you think's happening here, Mary Ellen? Why all these defections?
Well, evidently they're starting to realize that their life is so miserable that they just don't want to deal with that anymore, what they're dealing with. I don't see how they stand doing what they did, you know.
Why do you think Marjorie Taylor Greene is leaving?
Well, I give her credit for that. She started the ball rolling. She's the first one to stand up to him in the Republican Party. And you got to give her credit.
You know what's interesting? Marjorie Taylor Greene gets on the bad side of Trump, and here's a woman who wore the red hat and was at the State of the Union, all in on Trump, so on and so forth, and who is having a meeting in the Oval Office with Trump? Mondani from New York.
Yes, I saw that.
That was an interesting meeting.
Wasn't that interesting? Yes. Well, it pays to try to get along with him, you know.
Now, see, in that video, that's one of those videos, again, where Trump seems
decent
and likable. And, I mean, you've got to watch this video if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
He's there with Mondani, and one of the reporters says, well, you've called President Trump a fascist. Do you still think he's a fascist? And Trump, I swear you can't make it up. He says, just tell him yes, it's easier. Just go ahead and tell him yes.
Yes.
You know,
that was pretty funny,
I thought,
yeah.
and I was thinking to myself, is he trying to be funny? I think he was. He was smiling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So this is what I always wonder about Trump. Does he really have any political philosophy at all? Because he was praising Mondani about winning his election and doing what he's... It just doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. We'll see what happens here.
I was surprised that Mondani was so gracious toward Trump.
Well, I think he realizes he has to get along with him, you know.
And, you know, Bill Maher said that Trump in private is a nice guy.
Yeah, they did.
They all say that in private.
Yeah.
Joy Behar, I heard the other day, say that, you know, if you said something nice to him, he was nice to you. He would invite you to parties and his weddings and so on and so forth. There's a personality thing there that I'm not really sure what it is.
Yeah.
But I bet that if you were in a room with him privately, he probably is likable.
Yes, he probably would be. It would be my guess. Yeah.
But it's just, I think the things that he says to generate attention are what caused the problem. But that meeting was that was a wild meeting.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, it was beyond me.
I know. It was a surprise, I'll say that.
Yeah. When you saw him sit there and say, go ahead and say, yes, I'm a fascist. Right. Go ahead. Well, what do you think? Have you ever seen anybody act like that?
I thought, well, he's in a good mood today. He
seemed very happy, didn't he?
Yeah, he
did. Was just smiling.
He evidently had a good meeting with the guy.
Yeah. And maybe Trump does get it as far as that goes. Maybe he gets that this is what people think of him.
I don't know. He's a hard one to understand.
You know, I think there'll be more books written on him than Lincoln, trying to figure out what this has all been about.
Yeah, there's been a lot already.
Well, it's just like the whole thing with Ukraine. I mean, he could not have said more horrible things about Ukraine.
Yeah.
He kicked Zelensky out of the Oval Office in that meeting, which most people felt was horrible. And then in the end, he supports him just about as much as anybody does.
Yeah, but he's telling him to quit the fight and and give up all that land,
Yeah.
which is not good. Yeah.
No. I think Trump is still out for that Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, it probably is.
I think
Yeah.
that's what's
He
in
probably
the
is.
forefront of his mind
Yeah.
at this particular point. But I guess we'll see as time goes along. And it's interesting. I'll tell you, it never stops.
I know, you're surprised about all these different things.
You know, we talked on some shows last week about your former boss, former Secretary of the Treasury, Larry Summers, being in the Epstein files. I don't think he's been implicated as doing anything wrong, but we learned that apparently he spent part of his honeymoon on the Epstein Island,
I can understand that.
and he
Yeah.
talked rather negatively about women and emails with Epstein, and
Yeah.
was in contact with him right up through 2019, right up till the time he was committed suicide, apparently. I keep seeing this story pop up. Every so
Yeah.
often it keeps popping up, and
It
every
does.
time I think about you when this
Yeah.
pops up, because you
I
work
know.
with this guy.
I know, and I can't believe it.
Have you come to any conclusion about
No.
it yet?
I also heard that Katie Couric's name was mentioned. And I thought, my gosh, what could that be? That doesn't make sense either.
No,
You know, Katie Couric?
no.
Yeah.
And the name we thought, I mean, Clinton was mentioned a lot, but that's
Well,
not...
Clinton was mentioned a lot. I was not surprised about that.
Right. No, he's had his picadillos over the
Yeah.
years.
He had a record before he ever became president, and they elected him president twice.
Right. But his mentions don't seem to be that bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of he didn't take the bait and so on and so forth.
I hope. I don't know what's going to come out here.
You know, I think a lot of times people forget that Clinton was a Rhodes Scholar.
Yeah.
Clinton is very smart. And a lot of people who I have talked to who've interviewed many, many, many presidents always have said Clinton's the smartest.
Have they?
Yeah.
Well, he knew how to get along with people. I know that.
I just think he clearly had some issue with women. And,
Well, what was wrong? Why, he had a nice wife. I don't know.
well, and she supported him.
Yes, she did.
She stuck by him,
Yeah.
sometimes to her own detriment
Yeah.
in public life.
Yeah.
But he's not been implicated in anything in these Epstein files. Of course, we really haven't seen the full...
You don't know what's going to come out.
No. But who would have thought Larry Summers,
I would never.
of all people?
Never. The first time they mentioned him, I thought, what?
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
Well, and again, for people who might be seeing this for the first time, you saw this guy more or less every day.
Well, pretty often,
Yeah.
And I just can't believe it.
And was not you didn't find him to be...
Well, he was always nice to me.
Yeah. Well, that's right.
And to everybody else I saw him work with.
Well,
yeah.
and here we find out that he's a little negative toward women.
Well, I wouldn't have thought that. Yeah.
If you had to describe him before all this, if somebody would have said, tell me about Larry Summers, how would you have described him?
He was really working in the Treasury, and he'd been in the Treasury before I got there. He had a job, and then he became he became the Secretary of the Treasury after Bob, what's his name?
Reuben.
Reuben. Yeah. And he was, for about 2 years, and he did a good job. Yeah, I would say, though, that my favorite was Lloyd Benson, because I liked him the best.
Yeah.
And I don't think he ever did anything wrong.
No, people liked him.
He was a nice guy. Yeah.
I was always surprised he did get a vice presidential run with Dukakis.
Yeah.
But other than that, that was kind of...
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people liked him.
I remember, when both of us got our names on the money, and then they made this coin for him. And I was the one that had to tell him about it. And he he was just such a nice guy.
He enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Enjoyed his time.
He enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
We're going to take a break, come back with the 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, and Kent Halloran will join us right after this short but important timeout. Hey, Scott Spears here with 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, and Terry Tackett. As you can see, we are in the vault here at the Berwick in Greencamp, Ohio. Delicious, delicious pizza place. And the pizza has arrived. Pan down on that. Look at that delicious pizza there. Mary Ellen, we're sitting in the vault and we're about to have this pizza. How good does this pizza look?
Oh, it looks great.
Terry, what do you think?
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Now, did you get the chandelier here? This is what, did you ever see any, Mary Ellen, all the vaults you've been in, did you ever see a chandelier like that in the vault?
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
We're going to try this pizza and come back and tell you what it was like here on WGH Talk. Hey, Scott Spears with Terry Tackett, 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow. We're at the Berwick here in Greencamp, Ohio. The pizza was delicious. Terry, how was the pizza?
It was great.
Mary Ellen, how was the pizza?
I really liked it.
Worth $1 million to be sure. You'll enjoy it. Come over and eat in the vault. Hey, Scott Spears back here with the 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, and Kent Halloran joining us. So glad to have him back with us. Kent, happy holidays.
Thank you, sir, and the same to you,
Yeah.
Mary Ellen. Same
Thank
to you.
you.
Yes, we're
And to Sean.
Yep, we're taping this the Wednesday, so Thanksgiving Eve we're taping this, and then this will air the day after Thanksgiving on Black Friday. What's your favorite part of Thanksgiving and the start of the holiday season?
My favorite part of starting the holiday season is, believe it or not, it's the preparation, getting the house decorated, getting some stuff put away, but bringing out other stuff, because a lot of things have memories to them.
Yes.
Oh, I remember when we got this ornament. And even though my wife and I have only been married for, I better get this right, 7 years now, we've got, all sorts of ornaments and things that either her kids gave us or my kids gave us, and we kind of go through. And it's a nice time to reminisce and,
Yeah.
and think about the family.
You like decorating?
I do.
Oh, see,
Not outside, though. Don't get me on a ladder outside in this weather. No, thank you.
I like those people who you pay them and they come in and they decorate, and then it looks so nice when they leave. It's a lot of work to decorate. Mary
And
Ellen,
it's a lot of expense to have those come in. too.
I know. Those people are not cheap.
Yeah.
So you grin and bear it and you do it and you put it
Yes.
up. But it's a lot of work to get ready for the holidays.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's nice to look at when it's done.
No, absolutely.
Like, I like looking at all this, but it takes a minute to get it all together.
Right.
Holidays are fun, but here we are. Favorite food for Thanksgiving, Kent?
Oh, any food is good food for me. I mean, I didn't get this not so slim trim figure from starving myself.
We were just talking earlier about politics, and it's kind of interesting because there's a new study out, a survey, that found that 42% of people do not want to talk about politics at all at the holiday parties, and they avoid topics like weight and finances. People would rather talk about food and wine than anything else. Kent, what do you talk about at holiday time? Do you talk about politics?
Not usually. I mean, I speak with my parents on regularly, and we talk politics then. But generally speaking, when we get to the holidays, we're doing more reminiscing and we're talking. And especially my parents at the age now where they're looking back fondly on memories and that sort of thing. And we, rather than bring up politics and which we talk about a lot anyways, we try to stick to less. And again, we don't have too many relatives in my family that take a contrary view. So at that point, we just, whatever comes up. But we try to keep it off of politics.
Mary Ellen, your holiday parties, do you talk politics?
No.
No.
No, we all pretty much agree on the same thing, and they don't want to talk politics, and I don't want to talk politics. I want to talk other things.
Talk about other things.
Yeah.
Now, what about, do you find it interesting that the other two things people don't want to talk about are their weight and their finances?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to talk about my weight. I don't want anybody to know about my finances either.
Right.
Well,
Well, a lot of people ask, though.
Well, it's none of their business.
Yeah, but it's interesting. People will ask, how much do you make, and so on and so forth.
They don't ever ask me that.
So what is the main topic of conversation at your holiday parties?
It's watching the kids unwrap their things, and then we talk about what we've been doing. That everybody talks about the excitement in their life. And Leslie will probably talk about her birds. She had an eagle come and watch her for 5 minutes. It was yesterday, and she had never seen an eagle there before. And she said, I think that eagle's going to come to my party tomorrow.
So she'll have that to talk about.
Yes, right.
Now, Mary Ellen, is there anybody in your family that if politics did come up, you know that you're not on the same page with?
Well, there is somebody, but he's not going to be there. And
okay.
And we wouldn't talk about it anyway. No.
It's just...
No, I wouldn't talk about it. No. He married into the family. And
he's not in the bloodline.
No.
But that's kind of hard for a lot of people because
but we just, it's his business, that's his business.
Just let it.
Yeah.
But I guess this is why people don't talk politics at the holidays, because it could end badly.
Oh yeah. I mean, why? I mean, you don't want to argue.
No.
When you're having good food.
No. Well, it can. If it came up at your house, how do you think it would go?
Oh, like I said, the family's
agrees.
Pretty small. We all see eye to eye on most issues, and so we just don't talk about it. It's not something. Again, we talk about it on other occasions, but when it comes to the holidays, whether it's opening your gifts on Christmas, or whether it's just trying to enjoy some, camaraderie and family time at the Thanksgiving table, it's just not worth bringing up politics. There are some things that politics should not invade. I mean, it's bad enough that lately politics is invading almost every aspect of our lives. Mm-hmm. Let's keep it out of at least the holidays. Let's keep it out of those holidays, is my feeling. And
why is it so divisive now, though? I don't remember, I can't imagine a conversation about Ronald Reagan getting out of hand. I can't imagine, Bill Clinton getting out of hand. But people these days, last 10, 15 years, it can get ugly.
Well, I would say there's a lot of reasons for it. I mean, whether you're going back to, I remember a famous, I think it was a quote of Lyndon Johnson, when he signed the Civil Rights Act. The quote that's attributed to him as well, I guess I lost the South for the Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And point of fact is, over the course of time, he did.
Yeah.
But then there's other things. I mean, we've had more and more divisiveness, and the more we've gone on, starting really with Ronald Reagan. Not that, again, as you said, he didn't bring the ire out like later politicians, but it just seems to me that we've got part of it has to be the fact that with the internet now, back in the 80s and before, we had 3, maybe 4 channels to choose from for television news. Maybe in the 80s we ended up getting CNN and a few others. But over the course of time now, we can't even agree on the facts, because if you want to learn something, well, you just go to that channel, station, website, whatever. You just go where you're going to agree with them. And so we've created whether we being the society, there's no one person to blame, obviously, but we've created a situation where we can't even agree on the facts. At least when Reagan was in, you could agree on the facts. Now, you might not have agreed on how to, let's say you agree that there's a problem. Now we can talk about how do we address it, and we have different ways of addressing it, but at least everyone is working toward the same thing, but we're working towards solving a problem. Right now, we can't even agree if there is a problem. And that's kind of a concern to me.
Well, Mary Ellen, it seemed to me like under George W. Bush, things really started to take a turn where people did not even want to be in the same room with somebody who felt differently. I mean, I remember very, very deep conversations about the Iraq War that people would have.
Oh, the people were so upset about that he started 2 wars. And Well, and I think television has not been helpful to people getting along because we've got, Fox News. We didn't used to have Fox News. We didn't used to have MSNBC. And we didn't used to have Facebook. Those three things have caused a lot of things being said and people being upset. Yeah.
And people believe everything.
Yeah.
If it's said,
they do.
people believe it.
That's bad. Yes.
I was shocked here locally. Recently, $25,000 was allocated by City Council to be used for food for people. The mayor decided to send the $25,000 to the Salvation Army. It came back to council. Council amended it and ended up sending it to 5 different charities, $5,000 to each charity. I think one was the homeless shelter on Fairground Street, the Peanut Butter Jelly Truck, Leap-In Ministries, I think. But it was 5 charities. But the vote all of a sudden was no longer unanimous. Mm-hmm. It became 7-2. And you had 2 people who voted against it and were very impassioned against it. But then you had 2 people who became very emotional about it on City Council. One teared up in his speech about, if government should do anything, it's help people with food and their needs of that nature. And another one got very angry at somebody who was going to vote against it and was yelling at them. So this even became a contentious issue.
Yeah, why can't we help people and just why can't we agree to help people with food? Now, you can debate on which organization is better able to serve that. I don't know the Salvation Army that well, but I don't know if they operate soup kitchens or not.
I don't know of any.
I don't either.
Mm-mm.
Well, the big problem, it seemed, with the 2 people who voted against it was that SNAP benefits have been returned and people don't need this anymore, and why are we doing this?
Really?
Yeah, that was their take. The 2 people who voted against it.
Well, when you don't have very much money, it sounds to me like they shouldn't be giving it away.
Well, there was that discussion as well.
Yeah.
But people felt they'd already promised it and that these organizations were in need.
Yeah, but they don't have it.
I'm not sure what
Yeah.
they're in a place right now.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, today, we're taping this on Wednesday, the mayor said last Friday that he had met with every department head and that every department had to cut 10% out of their budget for next year. And we're talking about police, fire, sanitation, so on and so forth, senior center. And that's just the beginning. I mean, that doesn't even get you to where you need to be.
Yeah.
Well, and I believe I read in the Star that he mentioned raising the stormwater rates and the sewage rates.
Did he?
Yeah, and again, I'm no lawyer, but I think Ohio code does not permit just the wholesale transfer of money from sewer and stormwater rates to the general fund.
Really?
I mean, the whole purpose, and I actually downloaded it just to make sure I had the number right, but the whole purpose of that pardon me while I bring up my bookmarks. The whole purpose of those rates are, and again, I'm no lawyer, so someone could certainly do it. Section 729.52, funds from sewer rentals deposited into sewer fund, and it goes on to discuss the fact that if you end up not spending the money, then under certain circumstances you can transfer the money. But the way it was put in the paper, at least the way I read it, was, okay, we can raise the sewer rates and the storm sewer rates, and he made a point that they haven't been raised in a number of years, which if there is a deficit in those programs, they should be raised. Mm-hmm. But you just can't raise them because essentially what they're trying to prevent is using the sewer rates as a supplement to the taxes. Yeah. And that's the problem, is you don't want, good heaven knows the mayor doesn't want to mention that we're going to have to increase taxes. Mm-hmm. We'll cut everything else because again, that's kind of a third rail in these days.
Yep.
Well, he wouldn't mention Monday. He was asked flat out, were there going to be layoffs, and he said he didn't know. Well,
Well, if you're cutting departments by 10%, most departments, their number one source of of expense
Yeah.
I believe 85% of the budget is
salaries.
payroll.
Yeah.
So here we are. But I don't know. I don't know how it got this way. I don't know how in the world nobody saw this coming. You have a budget director. This person was hired by the mayor, the current mayor. I don't know how this was not seen.
Yeah.
The auditor of state now has come back and said that we're in fiscal caution. A plan needs to be gotten together. That 13 line items in the budget as of October 31st were in the negative, up to something like $9 million. I mean, I don't know how in the world. Who in the world is looking at the budget?
Evidently nobody.
No, and they have a budget director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? They ought to fire him.
Well, it's a woman named Chelsea Troiano, and nobody can seem to figure out what she's doing.
Nothing.
Nothing. And so here we are. And the people in Marion didn't get paid last Friday because of a glitch in the auditor's office. So they eventually got their check. It's been a bad week
Yeah.
down at the city.
Yeah.
Down at City Hall. But we'll find out what the new budget is on December the 1st. They'll come back with something. We don't know what it's going to be, but I can't imagine. I don't know where the senior center is going to cut 10%. Their budget is very small to begin with. I don't know where transit's going to cut 10%. They're running in the negative already. I don't know where the police budget, 10% of the police budget's going to be something like $800,000. Where are they going to get that? The new fire station's not coming.
Yeah.
Right now, it's on hold.
Yeah.
The sewer replacement over on Prospect Street, multi-million-dollar project, it's on hold now because the city doesn't have any money to do it. Here you are.
Okay.
Well, I think the one thing I did read was, at least from a cutting budget standpoint, is I think he was talking about, whether it was the mayor or someone else mentioned cutting the night bus.
Oh, yeah. The night moves.
Oh, really?
The night moves, that was it, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're talking about cutting that. And again, one of the challenges is going to be that people in this community are going to see a lot of services, being diminished.
Yeah.
You just can't say, because it was done, a few times. And again, I haven't had a chance to go to council in a couple weeks. But when this came up, and it's at least the way the paper presents it, it's just kind of a nonchalant, oh yeah, we'll go ahead and we're not going to replace these people and we're going to let these people retire. And it's kind of like, if those people didn't do anything, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But let's presume for the moment that they actually did
Yeah.
have a job and actually did serve a purpose. Oh, we're just not going to do that? Does that mean everyone else has to pick up the slack, or does it just mean things aren't going to get done?
I'm not even sure that they can cut the people because they are part of a union. I'm still not sure how that's all going to turn out in the end.
What union is it?
I'm not sure.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah, but they are part of a union, and
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, and I also, we've also learned that there are less police officers and less firefighters on the ground in Marion now than there were at the beginning of the year, and those spots are not going to be filled because they don't have the money to fill them. And this has all come out within the last 2 weeks. Yeah. So it's been a bad time in the city, and you know what? It's all got to be figured out by January the 1st because they can't pass a negative budget.
Oh, they can't. That's right.
No.
Yeah.
So we'll find out.
Yeah.
Back to national politics for a moment, because Mary Ellen and I were talking about this in the first segment. This meeting that President Trump had with Mandani.
Oh.
And boy, they got along.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you would think not, because Trump said some horrible things about him, and Mandani said some horrible things about Trump. But here they are, just happy as could be in front of reporters. Trump was saying nice things about him, and Mandani was smiling, and it was all just happy.
Yeah, a little nauseating if you ask me. I saw that. I just Trump really wants he really wants everyone to like him.
Yeah, he does.
That's what he wants. He I don't know whether you want to call that megalomania, what other mental situation it's called, but he is desperate for people to like him. So anytime people meet him, he turns on the charm, and again says all these wonderful nice things in spite of the fact that you could, all you have to do is go to the video.
Yeah.
And you can see all the things he talked about him. I mean, he referred to him as a communist. He he couldn't even say his name correctly. I mean, he came up with all sorts of different pronunciations, and it's sickening.
But there is something there, as Mary Ellen and I were talking about. I mean, the video is not to be believed. You have to go look at the video, because there's a part of that video where Mondani is standing there, and the reporters say, "You called Trump a fascist. Do you still think he's a fascist?" And Trump just speaks up from the desk and he says, "Tell him yes. Just forget it. Go ahead and tell him yes." I mean, I think Trump did come off likable in that video. I mean, I could see why he was probably, why they got along if he was acting like that.
Oh, he plays to the audience.
Right.
And whether if it's a rally in which he can, if it's a rally of his supporters where he can say all the nasty things he wants about people on the opposite side, and all his supporters absolutely love it. The problem is he can turn on a dime. In other words, Mondani comes to the office and it's all smiles and charm and don't worry, because he's never gonna acknowledge the importance of the press. I mean, the press are, they're all, if they're either with him or they're fake news. I mean, and what was he called? One of them, I guess they caught him on a hot mic calling one of the reporters piggy.
Oh yeah.
And that's ridiculous. I mean, the press is the one way we keep government accountable. Mm-hmm. It's the main way we keep government accountable, and he's surrounded himself with primarily. Now, you've got ABC and a few others in there, but every time they make him mad, he sends them packing. And he replaces them with another Fox News host or One America Network or one of these other ones out there.
But he's always been this way, Mary Ellen. It just wasn't as President of the United States. I remember when he would first time we really knew about Trump in a big way is when he was going through his first divorce from, who was it, Ivana? Or is that his daughter? Is Ivanka the daughter or the...
Ivanka is the daughter.
So Ivana.
But her name is Ivana.
Ivana.
Yeah.
So the first wife, they were having this horrific divorce, and all the gossip columnists in New York were talking. I remember I interviewed Liz Smith years ago,
Did you?
and she became famous for covering that marriage breakup.
Yeah.
And it was in the New York Times. That was a big multi-million-dollar breakup. But he was like that then. Liz Smith told me the story. I don't remember it specifically. God rest her soul. She's gone now. But I remember her telling me that he would say the most horrible things about her in the press, that Liz Smith is a liar and a gossip columnist and not to be believed. But if Trump saw her at a party, they were fine. I mean, he would get along. He just said things that I'm not really sure he means half the things he says. I don't know.
Oh, I think he means most of it.
But then maybe he just tries to be charming.
He has moments where he feels differently. I don't know.
Well, but Barbara Walters was another person who, they got into a little bit of a squirmish when he got into that fight with Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah. But then toward the end of her life, he and Barbara made up. They were back together, and she was doing interviews with him. So he's had that relationship with a lot of people in public life.
Again, he plays to the audience. Whoever if he's with someone, he's charming to them, and he's very kind, and talks.
Bill
Maher mentioned it. Yeah, Bill Maher mentioned how he was such a he was so charming and very nice, and it's like, because you're the audience. No, he doesn't want to come off as the villain. I mean, that's the thing, is wherever he is, he's playing to that audience.
Well, I think he does come off as the villain, though, when he speaks to rallies, but in private, he must not come off that way, because people seem to like him in private.
Well, you got to remember, the rallies are for his supporters, and they like that.
Right.
They like hearing that. So now he because they're the immediate ones. He doesn't think about the cameras are taking that image to wherever. He's only thinking about the folks that are there and are listening to him and cheering him and everything else. So he's playing to that. If you're one-on-one with him in whatever, the Lincoln bedroom or wherever he's taking a tour, he's as charming as can be because you're the audience. And I think it's just playing to the audience.
But you know what's interesting, Mary Ellen? We talked a few weeks ago about the ABC News correspondent, was Jonathan Carl, and he wrote a book about Trump in the last campaign. And he said it was easier to get Donald Trump on the phone than it was to get Kamala Harris's second press secretary. Mm-hmm. That he just gives access to reporters. He talks.
He wants to wants to talk to them.
That he'll answer the phone.
Yeah.
And these other people who are very guarded, they don't want to talk.
Yeah.
And I think that is to press. That's even though you might not like what he says all the time, access is a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, from a reporter's standpoint, you'd rather be talking to the main man than the second undersecretary to the whatever. So yeah, I think it's true. But again, that's part of the charm. I mean, he wants to. I don't know if he feels that he is so charming that he's irresistible.
That could be it.
I
think you might have hit on it.
I mean, that's just it. Is I think he believes that wherever he is he is excellent at playing to the audience, and again, and if it's not hard to do. You just change your message and you give them whatever message you want to give. Now and that's one of the reasons why what bothers me more than anything is this Project 2025. I've read most of the areas that affect me directly, especially when you're talking about the the Environmental Protection Agency. I mean, we're talking about gutting the Environmental Protection Agency.
Really?
To the point where, oh yes, it's no longer going to be regulatory; it's going to be advisory. Mm-hmm. That's the gist of it, and it's kind of like, oh, we're going to advise industries not to pollute, and they're going to say thanks, we'll take it up at the next board meeting.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, out goes the what into the rivers.
Yeah.
The Cuyahoga might catch fire again. Who knows?
But a lot of people say the last person who has Trump's ear is what he says in that moment.
Uh-huh.
Whatever the last person said to him, that's what he's going to say. The last thing that he liked, that's what. Because it's very interesting. Because the Republican Party, which Marjorie Taylor Greene she's leaving Congress in January. Kevin McCarthy said recently in the last few days that he's warning the Republicans that a lot of other defections are going to come up. It's not just her. And a lot of that is because they're going along with him, but he's not really a traditional Republican. He's not everything that they believe he does, or everything he believes they don't believe, which is the problem they're having. So, again, I don't know what his political philosophy is. I'm not sure he is a Republican.
He's himself.
Right. I think whatever he thinks last is what he's... Remember when he said he was going to open Alcatraz?
Yeah.
And I told Mike Larson, who was here, I said he's not going to open Alcatraz. He's just saying... And Mike was convinced that he was going to reopen Alcatraz. I think somebody just said to Trump, hey, wouldn't it be good to open up Alcatraz? So he said it.
Well, he's looking for places to put the people they were arresting. He's got them in some terrible places. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously some things that are being done are not good. I mean, nobody's going to deny that. But his philosophies are just insane, and I was reminded of that during the Mondani press conference. Because here's a guy he should absolutely not like. If that was George Bush with I don't even know if George W. Bush would have met with Mondani.
Well, I'll tell you, he's stayed clear of it, hasn't he?
He certainly has.
The Bush family has not been heard from at all. They're very quiet. Yeah.
He did speak at Cheney's funeral, though.
Oh, that's right.
He got very emotional at the funeral.
Yeah, okay.
I think didn't the Cheney family ask that Trump not attend?
Yes, well, he and Liz Cheney have not seen eye to eye.
They're not too fond of each other.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see all the former vice presidents attend that funeral. Mm-hmm. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Al Gore and the whole bunch.
I was glad to see Al Gore.
Yeah, Al Gore. We just saw him on a video
You're
a
right.
month or so ago.
Right.
So it was nice to see Al Gore there. But it's interesting when a first lady dies, all the first ladies show up.
Yeah.
When a vice president dies, all the vice presidents show up. When a president dies, we saw with Jimmy Carter, all the presidents show up.
Yeah.
Even if they don't like them, they show up.
Yeah, they do.
That's nice.
Well, and that was one I once read about it. I can't remember how long ago it was, but they talked about the presidency as a club.
Yes.
You know, once
It is.
Once you
Yeah.
serve a term as president, or once you serve as president, it doesn't necessarily have to be a full term, but once you serve as president, you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because again, this is a highly stressful, highly important job that very few people. It's hard. It's hard to go. You're not going to sit in a room like this with a president saying, "Oh, let me tell you something." You don't understand what's going on. It's like, yeah, we know, and you know,
Yeah.
but they can share. And that's,
Yeah.
But Jimmy Carter never seemed to get along with him. Every picture I always saw, Jimmy Carter was like 3 steps away from the other bunch.
He was to himself more. You know, that is interesting. He tried to run the office by himself and his wife. I mean, she helped, but he was to himself.
He was off to himself. We've got one more segment to go. We're coming back with Ken Halloran and Mary Ellen Withrow right after this. Hey, Scott Spears here for WGH Talk Radio with Terry Tackett and 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, and we are in the vault here at the Berwick in Greencamp, Ohio. Look at this pizza. My goodness gracious, it is delicious. Terry, what'd you make of this vault?
Looking around at this vault, the ambiance in here, I mean, where else are you going to see a chandelier of this magnitude in a vault?
Look, pin this vault right now. Look at this place. We got the chandelier. The walls are absolute concrete. I mean, Mary Ellen, what do you make of this beautiful vault here in Greencamp, Ohio?
Yes, but there's no money in it.
There is no money in here. Mary Ellen, did you bring any with you?
Not much.
Not much. The Berwick in Greencamp, Ohio. Don't miss it. Great pizza, a great unique atmosphere to sit and enjoy yourself. Hey, Scott Spears back with the 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow and Ken Halloran, and we're discussing all kinds of things as we're in the midst of the holiday season here. And one thing I wanted to discuss was what we have on the set now, all of these decorations. The question has become, how soon is too soon to decorate for the holidays?
It's when you want it.
Is it when you want?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I don't like to see it too early.
No, I don't either. I think Thanksgiving is good enough.
Thanksgiving's good.
Yeah.
That's, I say, after you eat dinner, if you want to put the tree up and you want to do whatever, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hear the Christmas music or see the trees before that. So,
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, my wife and I, we decorate Friday morning.
Okay.
there you go.
Because here's the thing, each holiday is special. Even, I know people that Halloween is their favorite holiday. One of my daughters, Halloween is her favorite holiday, and
Yeah.
she does the whole gory. I mean, at one point we were decorating when she was a kid, and she wanted to get all these body parts on the yard. And I'm thinking to myself, oh goodness, yeah, I've already got a bad enough reputation in this community. Last thing I want is like, oh, Halloran's axe murdering again. But that was her thing, and
Yeah.
and I applaud it.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is a special holiday, and the biggest headache, I don't mind if people want, especially outdoor lighting. If you want to put up outdoor lighting when it's a little warmer, by all means. Now, turning it on, that's up to you, but the one thing that bothers me more than anything is, and I can remember, I don't remember what store it was, I remember walking into one store in September and they already had the Christmas display out.
Oh, well, stores that sell trees do that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Like Menards.
Yeah,
and
Menards. I think it
places
was
like
Menards.
that. Yeah.
It's like,
They put them out early.
yeah.
Well, my favorite store is Von Mars in Polaris. And I was so excited to see their Christmas decorations up when I went. It was about 2 weeks ago. And I thought, my goodness, I didn't expect to see them, but yet I was thrilled
You
to
liked
see
it.
them. But I didn't want to put things up in my own home then.
Well, and
Yeah.
I think Macy's, store-wise, has the best holiday decorations.
Do they?
Even the local Macy's, like the Macy's in Columbus, Polaris, I think they have great decorations. They're not overdone but they're not underdone either. So but I just don't want to see them before Thanksgiving because I think people are in the Thanksgiving mode.
I agree.
But boy, people get them up early. Some people leave their trees up all year round.
I know they do. Yeah, that's their affair. Yeah.
There was my parents had a good friend back in Toledo was a restaurant. She owned a restaurant, and at one point she had her one of her waiters insisted they put up a tree, and so he put up the Christmas tree, but then she kept bugging him to take it down. It was January. He said, "Take down the tree already." So instead, what he did is he decorated it for January. He took all the Christmas ornaments off, and then he put up things like whatever year it was, all the Happy New Year type thing. So he decorated it that way. And so she just rolled her eyes and kept going. Well, finally, in February, same thing. So he decorated with all sorts of hearts and Valentines. And he did this all year long. And I can remember one time I was visiting my parents, and we went to the restaurant. And I looked at the tree, and the tree had all sorts of tools on it, wrenches and screwdrivers and all sorts of things like that. And I said, "What on earth is that?" And they explained it to me, and they said, "Well, that's the Labor Day tree."
Oh.
And he was standing right there, and I didn't see him. And I looked, and I said, "Yeah, I got a hard hat in the car. He can have it if he wants it for the topper." And he says, "Oh, please." And so I had to go out to my car. I had to get my hard hat, and he plopped it on the tree so he did that. It was the holiday tree, so every month he changed the holiday. Now that's a little radical for me, but again, it was all in good fun.
Why do you think some people do that? What do you think that's all about?
Well, they just love the look of Christmas,
I mean, there is Santa Claus, Indiana. Not too far from here. They have Christmas all year round.
Oh, do they?
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so it's interesting.
We've got 27 trees at Primrose.
Oh.
Yes, and they're all beautiful, and they're not anything alike. Yeah.
All different.
They're all different.
You know what's interesting is that I was just looking at the ornaments here in this dish, and this is a lot of women during the holidays start to dress like this at the holiday time. A lot of glitter and sequins. Men, they might put some red on, maybe a Christmas tie, but women really start to dress more formal during the holiday season. They do.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I bring this up. Because Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says people need to stop wearing pajamas at the airport and on airplanes.
I agree with that. Yeah.
He says that we're too casual. We've got to stop this. We've got to be more formal. People are dressing terribly at the airport, and we've got to fix it.
Not just the airport, at the grocery store, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to, pay attention. They're in public.
I like to see people that are dressed well.
Yeah.
They don't have to be dressed up, just dressed well.
Dressed well.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ken?
Absolutely. I'm trying to. In fact, my wife and we discussed this not too long ago. I'm trying to up my game a little bit. I like wearing vests and mainly.
You look nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But especially in the winter, I definitely go for the fleece. But I started wearing just regular, what they call a waistcoat or waistcoat. I wear those most of the time, unless it's beastly hot in the summer. But I just wear those because they make me feel better, and it's a little. Actually, went to my wife's had an open house for her company, and I actually wore one of my vests and my pocket watch and so forth. And so I went there, and I went to go get some coffee, and her boss came and stared at me, and she turned to my wife and said, "Who's that dapper gentleman?" and she said, "Well, that would be my husband."
Yeah.
And she didn't know. Well, of course, she didn't know who I was, but I think there is a sense that fashion needs to. We need individually. We need to have a little more pride in our appearance.
We used to have.
Oh, absolutely.
And all of a sudden, it seemed like when I came back from Washington, things were totally different in Marion. I was gone 17 years, and I come back, and drugs were a big problem, which I don't think they are now. I'm glad for that. Yeah.
Certainly not as bad.
No, I mean, we even elected the, basics.
Now, Mary Ellen, do you buy a lot of formal clothes?
No, I don't go to anything anymore, formal. if I do, I've got one I can wear, you
Yeah.
know, that I've still got. But no, I really I don't dress up to that point.
Now, when you were working, how would you, if you went shopping for clothes, did you buy a lot of dress down or dress up type of things?
Well, I got St. John's. I'd buy one outfit a year because they're so expensive. And I saved them. I'd keep wearing them. I ended up, I had a whole bunch of St. John's. And
Now-
it worked out.
Now these days, what type of events do you dress up for, and how do you decide?
Well, it doesn't matter what I wear. I just want to look decent. I try to decide, should I wear a jacket or not, you know, a suit. I've got plenty of suits I can wear. And I try to look like I should.
Yeah.
I don't think I always do, but
I think you look fine. Yes, I don't think. But you know what's interesting? A lot of people don't dress up at all anymore, and I'm not sure why that is. They don't dress up for church. They don't dress up for funerals. They don't dress up for weddings. They just, I don't want to do it.
yeah.
I'm not sure the reason. I think you feel better when you dress up.
I really don't want to see jeans at church.
Yeah.
I just can't stand to see that, and I've seen it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's become a very popular thing.
Yeah.
Here is a story that's gotten a lot of attention. We've talked about this on the show the last week. I don't know if this is a horrible story or a great story. Some people like it, some people hate it. There's a new AI app that lets you speak to the dead.
Well, like I want to do that.
Well, I don't know. It's strange. It's a commercial. They're running it now. It's a pregnant woman, and she's got her grandmother on her phone, who's dead.
Oh.
And her grandmother is saying things to her, and she's having a conversation with the grandmother who's gone. And apparently this company will take pictures of your dead relatives, and I guess if you have a voice clip of them somewhere, and they can turn that into whatever that's called, a person on your phone that can communicate with you. And some people really like the idea of this.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
Apparently there's some call for it. I don't know.
I think they've gone a little far.
But, I mean, this is AI. This is where we are headed with AI.
Well, after they wrote about my birthday party, I've got a different respect for AI. I mean, they were not there, and they had it perfectly. They didn't have one mistake.
No.
And they had a lot of people listed and had it all correct. And I found out it was AI, and I couldn't hardly believe it.
And even the quotes were right.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything was correct.
I know.
Yeah. And there you are.
There you are.
Yeah.
So maybe, your dead grandmother could be on
No, I
your
don't
phone.
believe that.
I don't know. It's
No.
true. This company is doing this. And so have we gone too far is the question.
That would be too far for me. But, it just depends. I mean, for me, yeah, that's a little bit creepy, to put it mildly. But if this company is doing it and it's not hurting anybody, that's my concern. Is that are we getting we're already these, I even pulled it out earlier today, these infernal phones that everyone carries around with them. I mean, they can be a great tool. I keep books on mine. I keep news articles. Like I said, I brought it, but it's also pushing us away from people. Mm-hmm. In other words, instead of turning to your phone and getting a virtual picture of your dead relative, maybe you just ought to turn to somebody who could, somebody who's alive, who can actually give you as good, if not better, advice than an AI-generated image of your grandfather, grandmother, whatever.
But they're not in touch with your relative. They're making this up, right?
Well, see, that's the question. Because the theory is that I guess, yes, they are making it up, but if they can glean enough information from your relative, they can answer
Oh,
as your
I see. Yeah.
relative would.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
They're making it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They're making it up from the information they have. Yeah.
right. Well, and that's interesting because,
Yeah.
you know, it's fascinating because on this station, the radio station part of it, we're on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we were certainly the first station in this area and really one of the first in talk radio to ever start doing repeats of old shows. And now, many, many, many years into this, there are a lot of people who are dead. Who, you know, you hear their voices because here they are, you know, they were on the air. And callers even, who were regular callers who are dead. And you hear their voices. And, you know, I don't know that that's all that horrible. It's kind of nice to hear their voice sometime. And
But this is not a psychic.
no, this is
totally different than a psychic.
right.
Yeah. I believe in good psychics, but I don't like the idea of that.
Well, I always felt everybody does have a phone. I think you should interview your relatives, and you'll have that. That is them. If you want to ask them something, where they went to high school, what they wanted to be when they grow up, you know, do you realize how little we really know about our relatives?
I know. You know, I would like to ask my mother what it was like the first time she voted.
Exactly.
I would just like to know her feelings and why she didn't name her doll.
Right.
She didn't name her doll. And I've got it sitting there, and I thought she never named that, you know.
Well, that's what I mean, we know our parents more or less, but we really don't know about them before us.
Yeah.
We don't know what they wanted to do, what their parents were like, if our grandparents didn't live very long. You know, I think about that with people who are still alive. You know, my father was in Vietnam. We never talked about it. He didn't talk about it and never asked. So it's weird.
He didn't want to talk about it?
You know, I don't know. It just never came up.
You just never did?
Never did, and I never heard anybody ask him about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that he was injured. I know that.
Oh, he was?
He would talk about that.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Yeah.
he never spoke about it, and I never heard anybody directly talk to him. So, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, you almost have to go back and find people who knew them.
Yeah.
To find those answers.
But your mother?
I don't think asked him a whole lot of questions
She
about it.
didn't, yeah.
No, and I think that was before her.
Maybe he didn't want to talk about it.
Which could have been. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people didn't like to
Yeah.
talk about that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think about people who lived during the Depression.
Uh-huh.
You know, what was that like?
Well, I lived on a farm. I didn't know there was a depression.
See, and that's
I was
interesting.
doing all right.
Well, but I just
I had enough to eat.
You did okay.
Yeah.
You did okay during the Depression.
Yeah.
But like, you know, World War II. What was that like in Marion, Ohio?
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah.
I remember when it started. My dad came in the door and said that the Japanese had bombed us, and I was upset.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Well, and you know, but how often do we really sit down? And it can go the other way too. It doesn't have to be your older relatives. It can be your. How much do people really know about their nieces and nephews and their grandkids even? How often does a grandmother or grandfather sit down and have a really deep conversation with their grandchildren?
Well, not unless the grandchildren want to do it, and then I do.
Right.
But I'll tell you, the great-grandchildren you're getting too far away. You don't know much about your great-grandchildren.
Like,
And I think I wish I knew more about them, but they're just too far from me. Yeah.
it's interesting. This is an interesting conversation that this goes into. Being a treasurer of the United States and doing all that you've done, you know, when you go and have a room dedicated to you or give a speech, obviously people are aware of what you've done. But in your own family, because many generations have come now and are around, great-grandchildren, grandchildren, what percentage would you say really have a good grasp of what you did?
Oh, they all know. I mean, they all know about it. You know, we have the book. Every one of the grandchildren has a book. But I would bet if you ask them much about it, they wouldn't know.
Do they talk to you about it?
Well, my one granddaughter does. She seems to be more interested in it than the rest. But they then my other grandson, just the other day, he's still in college, and he was making money, fake money, put his picture on it, and was trying to sell it to these kids in this class that and so I gave him credit for that. He was paying, but they all know about those things, because having your name on the money is something that everybody knows, I guess. And I often think about this because of that position. It makes people pay more attention to you than it would if you were, say, head of a department or something, which there was another guy from Ohio went to Washington the same time as me, and they could never remember what he did.
But what's interesting? Your grandkids will be able to, in 50 years from now, pull you up on C-SPAN.
Yeah.
And there'll be video of you there.
Yeah, oh, that's right. When I spoke to the classes that were had certain grades, what was it? When they pulled me up on their computers, they were so excited about that. Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. If you had to guess in your family, who would you say would be somebody who would go into your field, run for office?
Well, nobody wants to.
Isn't that interesting?
It is. No, nobody wants to. Although I've got a great-grandson that wants to be a history teacher, I think because of me. He's in his first year, and I'm anxious to see what happens to him. Yeah.
Why do you think none of your kids or grandkids or great-grandkids have ever gone into politics? A lot of people do what their parents and grandparents did.
Well, my children never went into it because they saw how hard it was. Running for office was not easy, and I think my oldest daughter, after Hillary lost, said she was going to run for office, and she wanted to run for commissioner. I said, you don't want to run for commissioner. I said, you got all the things to deal with that you really don't want to. I said, run for treasurer. Well, there was a treasurer, and she wasn't going to run for the treasurer. So she was looking to run against the trustee. And then she found out it was a friend of hers, and she wasn't going to run against him. So that's the way it went. So now it's off. It's off. Nobody's running for anything.
But there was some ambition at one point.
Well, she was upset about Hillary losing. And in fact, they all were. They were all terribly upset about that. They had a terrible time over that. Yeah.
It's fascinating. Kent, did you find that your parents, obviously still around, you said earlier,
yes.
Did any of them go into their business?
Well, my parents were all teachers.
Okay.
My sister and I are the only kids. My sister went into teaching, and her three kids, well, she married a gentleman who is now the head football coach of, I think it's Adrian College. And my sister had three children. All three studied education. One of them is still a teacher. The other two are coaches at Adrian College. So her side kind of followed the whole trend of being, going and teaching and everything else. So in that regard, yeah, on her side, we've got three generations of teachers. But my father sat down with me one time and he says, yeah, I know you'd be a good teacher, but go into engineering. You've got the math for it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and the funny thing is my youngest nephew, I've got two nephews and a niece. My youngest nephew, he scored, I can't remember what the number was, but he scored high on math in, the ACT test before he went to college. And my sister and her husband and my parents were looking at the scores, and my sister said, when did he learn to do math? Because she and her husband aren't big math, and neither of my parents are. And my mom said, your brother's an engineer. Oh, is that right? Now, I mean, I never hung around the kids that much, so it's not like I don't think it's genetic, but he just had an aptitude for math. Now he went into teaching as well, I believe.
Yeah.
But now all of them are either coaching football or teaching. I don't remember if my niece teaches elementary or middle school, but they're all teaching. So
it's interesting the paths people take, but on this whole AI talk to the dead, I think as long as you know that that's not them, I'm not sure that it's so awful. But you have to realize that it's not them. If you want to hear somebody's voice, I can understand that. I mean, people like to look at old home movies of people who are no longer around. So, I mean, there is that want. But as long as you know that you're not talking to that person, I think it's okay. I don't know that there's any real harm here.
I think, again, my biggest fear is that we're already missing out on a lot of interpersonal relationships, just face-to-face communications like we're doing here. And I got an advertisement one time for an AI, I'm going to use the word friend, we'll call it an AI friend, and I'm thinking to myself, I've got friends.
Oh gosh, you don't want to do that.
Why do I? Yeah, no, but it's like, why did I get this advert?
That'd scare me.
Well, and that's just it. Is it's like, okay, as long as you know that it's not really your dead relative speaking to you from beyond the grave. But at some point, maybe you don't know that, and it's got, it's a slip. I don't want to say a slippery slope. I hate that phrase, but it is concerning to me that we're more and more between the internet and mobile phones and everything else. We're finding less and less reason to interact with our fellow man in a face-to-face and having interpersonal relationships. That's what bothers me more than anything.
But a lot of people think their dead relatives are contacting them. They come to them in dreams. Or things like that.
Yeah, you have these dreams. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting. It is that. I don't know where the AI is going to stop, but it's.
Well, I don't know. But I just don't understand it. They're doing all this stuff with it, and I just don't think it's the thing they should be doing.
I think there is a level.
I know it bothers me.
Well. And the other thing that really bothers me, that it's kind of the hidden cost of all these between Bitcoin and AI.
That's another thing.
The cost of the electricity that goes into maintaining these systems is enormous.
Is it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about, I can't remember where I read this, but they were talking about, just the Bitcoin alone uses more electricity than some countries.
Oh, really?
Because it's just those computers are constantly generating, and you can't turn them off.
Yeah.
And they're generating data. They're whether it's the cloud storage or whether it's AI or whether it's Bitcoin, all of that costs electricity. And one of the things that I've taught at when I was teaching at OSU was, when you're looking at trying to reduce, everyone, the whole thing, everyone's talking about, well, we need to, reduce our consumption. Well, you don't reduce we can do our, in our home, we can reduce consumption. You turn out the lights, you turn off unnecessary things. But that's the proverbial, teacup in the ocean compared to the amount of energy. And bear in mind that in order to generate energy, you need water. It's not, we just don't pull electricity off of a tree. It takes, whether it's water to manufacture the solar panels or the wind turbines, or whether it's the steam generation or other fossil fuel generation, it takes water. And right now, water is becoming a very scarce resource in many countries.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, really.
In fact, the war in Sudan, many people, point out the fact that, talking about people starving over there. Yeah, but there are people over there that don't have water to drink.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's where we
Yeah.
all go. Now, being that this is a holiday show, I wanted to bring this up because I got this as we're going into the holidays. I got this from the post office, Mary Ellen.
I got that.
You got this too?
Yes.
The
I
post
did.
office is turning 250 years old this year. Mm-hmm. So they've been around. Ben Franklin, I believe, was the first postmaster general.
Mm-hmm.
And for all you people who will be sending packages out this holiday season, here are the dates that you need to remember. If you want your gifts to arrive by December 25th, don't let somebody tell you any different. Here's what they are. The dates are as follows. UPS Ground Advantage Service, you have to mail them by December the 17th. UPS Priority Mail, Priority Mail, the 18th of December. And USPS Priority Mail Express, December 20th. So that's when you have to get your gifts out by.
Oh, okay.
Do you mail many things out, Mary Ellen?
No, I just I send something to my daughter in California. That's all I do. Yeah.
Your husband worked for the post office.
Yeah.
Yeah. 250 years.
Yeah.
So they were around before the country. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Had to have a post office, I guess.
Well, they do a lot.
I wish more people still sent Christmas cards.
Do you?
Yeah,
They've quit.
they have.
Yeah, mine have all. Well, I quit. I tell you, when I was U.S. Treasurer, I sent out so many Christmas cards. Oh my goodness! And I created them,
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of, when people get a Christmas card, it used to be they would send one back.
Yeah.
And that was a nice thing.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people used to put their whole family year, the whole story of their family in a Christmas card.
Yeah, I get a card every year from John Kulowitz, and he always has his family on it.
And he's running
He's
for
running for Attorney General.
Attorney General.
And I sure hope he wins.
That's going to be very interesting.
Yes, yeah.
Well, we hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. Again, we're taping this on Wednesday night, even though you'll see it on Friday. We hope everybody has or had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And we hope everybody has a great start to the holiday season. If you want to shop on Friday, enjoy. Go out and have fun, Black Friday, and then head into the holiday season. Mary Ellen, what do you think this holiday season is going to be like?
Oh, it's going to be great.
It's going to be another...
It's going to be nice, yeah.
You looking forward to it?
Oh, sure, yeah.
All the lights and all the fun that we'll have this holiday
I love
season.
seeing the lights and
Yeah.
everything. Yes, the holiday season's wonderful.
It is.
Yeah.
So hopefully everybody is filled with joy and happiness and has a wonderful Thanksgiving and comes
Yeah.
back with us next week. For Ken Halloran and the 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, for this episode of Scott Spears Now on a very decorated set, we're heading for the dugout.